Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your August 2024 general reading. We're looking at the first half of August, roughly the first couple of weeks, and this reading is for the earth sign of Virgo. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here. It's a blessing to be able to be here doing this work, and you are part of that, so thanks for taking the time. Virgo, if your sun, moon, rising, Venus sign is in Virgo, this is for you. If you're cross-watching for a Virgo, this video is also relevant. If you know any or all of your other sign placements, sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node, any of that, watch those videos as well for additional insight and perspective. And if you find that something resonates with you, it's a general reading, so it may resonate a little differently for everyone. But if you find that something resonates with you, it really hits home and you'd like to take a deeper look at it, or you simply like the reading style, if you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can see that contact information by clicking on the description of this video. I'd love to hear from you, and I can usually get back to you within the same day or within 24 hours with more information. I offer a lot of different choices for reading options in all areas of life, different types, lengths, costs, styles, spreads. There's something in there for everyone, and I'm pretty diligent about timely scheduling of personal readings too. I don't like people to wait too long if possible. So if you're interested, email me. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, Virgo, let's see what the first half of August 2024 looks like for you. For those of you who like to know, I am using the Royal Deluxe Tarot and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. We begin with the Ten of Coins and the Hermit. Some of you have learned and gained a lot of wisdom, perhaps at the cost of some painful lessons, about long-term security and stability, about legacy, about money, about family. Some of you may be seeking advice from somebody who's quite good at those sorts of things. Some of you might be providing advice to someone who needs that as well. Some of you are moving forward on a new path of financial, material, and stability and security, having learned some perhaps rather difficult lessons. Next, we have the Fool. A brand new chapter is beginning for you with the Lovers, significant decisions and choices. So the Lovers does indicate a relationship at a crossroads specifically. So it indicates a choice as well. The choice might be about the relationship itself. Do we continue together? Do we continue to move forward? If so, how? Do we go our separate ways? The choice or decision might be in another area of life, but one which impacts the relationship as well. There is quite clearly here a new chapter beginning for you. It might be on an emotional level, within a relationship or the home and family, whatever that means for you. It might be on a physical level as well, moving, relocating, traveling, starting over again. There's a sense of starting over again, but taking the lessons of the history you've learned with you. Very similar energy as to your sister sign, Taurus, as well. Next, we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Fire offers opportunities, the situation moving quite quickly with the Eight of Wands. I think Taurus had this combination as well. Things are moving very quickly and very powerfully during the first half of August or in the middle of August. This is like getting out of Dodge and doing it quickly. With the Fool and the Eight of Wands, a lot of you may be actually traveling, moving, relocating. It feels like there's a practical and an emotional component in this, Virgo. Some of you, it might be entirely emotional, a new start in a relationship. Some of you, that might include physically moving, relocating, or traveling, taking the lessons with you. Some of you might be going on a second honeymoon or going away to kind of restart the flame in that relationship. Some of you moving and relocating for a combination of the same reasons. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy and focus is the Eight of Cups, which makes perfect sense, Virgo, because the Eight of Cups represents leaving behind something which is no longer serving you. It's no longer in your best interest or your higher good, right? You may not know exactly how the future is going to play out, but you're turning your back to transition to the next card, which is the Nine of Cups, which is having what you want or your wishes granted. So here in the Eight of Cups, either something has run its course, it's turned out differently than what you want. I think perhaps some of you made decisions you thought perhaps were not the best decisions, and you've learned a lot. Let's take a look at that Eight of Cups, clarifying the overall energy. The Eight of Wands and the Knight of Wands again. Next card, the Four of Wands, another card that represents home and stability. The stability and harmony of the home can also represent celebrations around home and family, renewals. Some of you may be traveling for a family renewal, to celebrate something with a family, to visit family again. Some of you are moving and relocating back to where family is, and doing it rather quickly. Let's take a look at 10 of Coins and the Hermit. The World. Interesting, we have the World and the Fool both, because the World represents a final chapter, or a chapter being closed out. The World is the last major arcana card in the tarot. The Fool is the first. All the cards in between there are about a certain phase in our life, a certain cycle, a chapter or a set of chapters. We go through many in life. We go through many different phases in life. So the World represents something coming to a close. You've learned everything you need to learn, and now it's moving on to something new. The Hermit again, the Five of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles. I feel like some of you are going to be having help here. With some of you, it may be financial and material help with resources, money management by those who are more experienced than you. For those of you for whom there isn't that financial material component, again, it may be lessons learned, but it feels like some of you are getting help or seeking help and advice. If it's just about a marriage or a long-term relationship, it might be seeking the advice of other married people whose opinion and advice you trust, therapy. Again, I'm getting kind of starting over, having learned some lessons and being in a position where you're now willing to learn what it takes to navigate this path in a better and healthier way. And it looks like you have a good support system around you to help as well. Let's take a look at the Fool and the Lovers. We have the King of Pentacles, that's you, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We have the Six of Swords, which is a card of healing, and it implies that you're coming out of a difficult time, as we also know by that Eight of Cups. This is a card of leaving the worst behind you. The worst is behind you. If you could see the water behind this boat, it would be muddy and choppy and turbulent. It represents the challenges you've been through. But now you're in a place where you're headed towards a better place. The waters are calmer, smoother. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you're definitely headed in the right direction. Strong energy of moving and traveling here for some of you. Now, swords are governed by the element of air, which governs this, our intellectual landscape, how we think, our belief systems and ideologies and perspectives. You're taking those with you. Again, I feel like you have learned some perhaps rather costly or painful lessons, and you're moving forward. The Six of Pentacles is a card of gift giving and gift receiving. As advice, it represents being open to receiving. And I don't just mean gifts of like finances, material stuff. There's also receiving, being open to advice from people who have experience, and also making sure that that works both ways to your best of your ability. Being open to receiving, being open to giving. Knight of Wands, Eight of Wands. We have Strength and the Star. You know, in the tarot, the star comes after the Tower, which usually breaks things down or something crumbles to the ground. And then afterwards, the star comes to renew, restore, hope, faith, and optimism. It rebuilds after a difficult and challenging time. It does require some effort. This is a card of doing everything that's in your power to do in faith. Strength, facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, taking responsibility for the part that you've had perhaps in making choices before that you've learned maybe perhaps were not the best choices. The Hierophant and the Four of Cups. This is more cautionary advice, Virgo, to not, again, very similar to Taurus's reading, to not discount out of hand the tried and true path. Here in the Four of Cups, this is a card that represents, you know, feeling like you're stuck, dissatisfied, you know, but there's also some apathy and some laziness because there's fear of doing things differently. There's fear of moving on. You may be stuck, maybe feeling a bit apathetic. There's an offer or opportunity here. And the Hierophant is the tried and true path, the norm path, right? So be careful that you don't fall into a mentality that, you know, in your eagerness to move on into a better place, of thinking that you can do it all by yourself. It feels like there's people or places or something around you that's saying, look, there's a better way to do this, and we know this is a better way to do this because this is a tried and true path. Be careful you don't discount it out of hand as, oh, well, that's your old fashioned, or kind of like young people going to old people, you'd say that because you're older, you don't know what you're talking about, but they do. So be careful that you don't discount out of hand help and resources and other people's experience and knowledge that have walked this path successfully before you. Let's wrap this up with advice, guidance, feedback from Spirit. The High Priestess, trusting your intuition. Some people call it higher self, some people call it gut instinct. It's our connection to the divine, right, that helps us and guides us. But you have to listen to it and follow it. If something way down deep inside of you says, yeah, that's probably not the best thing to do, or yeah, that's probably not the best, yeah, I want to buy that thing, but it's probably not a good idea. Anything, really. Pay attention to that. The Fool, again, you're definitely on the right path. This is taking a chance, stepping out of the norm. Even if you're returning to a familiar place, the Fool represents doing things in a different way. The Four of Pentacles. This is a card of being careful and being economical. Definitely a card about watching your money. Making sure that you keep enough to be safe and secure. It's a card of saving and building too for financial and material things. And the Five of Cups. Don't get too caught up in the grief and loss and regret from what hasn't worked out, what you don't have. Look at it long enough, honor it long enough to take the lessons that you've learned of what not to do again to move forward. Don't be afraid to count, because focusing too much on what you don't have or what the situation isn't yet that you want it to be, well, the challenge is that it can make you apathetic and stuck, bitter. You can forget to count the blessings that you still have in your life, and you might miss other opportunities. So take what you need from the lessons that you've learned, leave the rest behind, and move forward. I'm going to leave it there, Virgo. Those are your messages for the first half of August 2024. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope that for those of you for whom this reading made sense, that it resonated, that it gave you some clarity and some validation as well. If it did hit home for you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, you simply like the reading style, if you are interested in a personal reading with me for yourself as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can also see that contact info by clicking the description with this video. I will see you all in a couple of weeks. Until then, stay safe and well. Hope to see you back here again soon, and I hope to hear from some of you as well. Take care. Bye-bye.